This is Tony Hendrick with Painting Spirit, and today I'm going to talk about pause. What pause looks like when creating artwork and how important it is to the process. Yesterday I was planning on painting from this photo that I'm right now painting from. Actually, I was going to do it 2 days ago and it didn't work out. I didn't have the time to get it all ready for myself. And today I was able to get the photo pulled up correctly. So there was a pause that happened out of circumstances that I might find out later that was perfect for today's subject. If I had used the photo yesterday, it might not have worked out the same, and so there'll be things in creating art you'll find that something that might feel frustrating, you have an intention about something and it's not kind of coming together the way you hoped. Yeah, there might be something going on where there's a natural pause happening. It might even actually feel unnatural at times. It's working out to your benefit, so it's really about getting into an awareness of that rhythm in creating art. Another part of the pause that, I said I was gonna use just the 3 colors that I've been using. I was actually planning on doing it with this painting, but guess what? I already grabbed my green. So I'm gonna get rid of that goal. I'm just using the 3 colors that I've been using the last couple of days and just go with this. I think it'll be fun. It's kind of a fun little image I'm working from. This image is up in Huron County, or maybe it's Sanilac County actually. I think it's Sanilac. Petroglyph State Park. Oh geez. I just saw that I've got a low battery. Boy, and I don't have it plugged in. Maybe there's going to be a real pause in this, and I'll have to pick up the topic tomorrow. Sorry, I apologize about that, but I will be doing this tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the full 4 weeks for me of doing Painting Spirit, and right now I'm talking about pausing, and I think structure and rhythm is also an aspect of allowing for a pause, so that you're not just doing something where it's a procrastination or a distraction, which we're all kind of familiar with what that feels like. Picking up our phones, checking them, kind of gets rid of that natural rhythm that happens for us in life. We're tuned into life and the creative flow. We've got all these devices that can lead to distraction. One of the ways of getting out of that trap, which I've been into, the almighty host of the painting spirit show also gets distracted by electronics, and it's kind of one of the reasons why I done these painting pauses on Facebook, is just to fill a little bit of a space in the ethers of Facebook, where somebody can, if they find themselves in the habit of getting on Facebook, they can find a little pause that might be serving them. So, back to pause with artwork. Let's see, how do I want to talk about this? I'm going to use pink for just accidentally got some red in my white, but I kind of like that. So I'm going to go with it. Kind of this highlight going on here. I'll add a little bit of orange. See what happens. You know, when you're working with colors and painting, just maybe getting a little creative with it. Like if I look at this photo, it's pretty much whites, but that's just the nature of photos. So I'm going to feel around and see if I can play with the color a little bit instead of just a pure white where these reflections of light are coming through. Anyway, I guess that was a little pause on my topic of pausing. Big moments when you're painting on a painting. Actually, let's approach it this way. So I've mentioned that I practice Tai Chi, and that's gonna be nice there. A little shadow there, some deep purples. Oh, I was saying that this is up in Huron County, or a Petroglyph State Park, and the Cass River has this reddish glow to it. It's pretty amazing. Amazing little river. So that's what this is. Let's see if the whole thing gets created before the battery runs out. Anyway, so I was just about to talk about my Tai Chi and the practice that I had going on for about 5 years. And so it started Tai Chi right around the time my son was born, and maybe a little bit before that. So I practiced pretty heavily for about 5 years. And then my son started to get into school activities like baseball and things, and I just started to see that I just didn't have the time I wanted to commit to the Tai Chi, or I actually had other things that were more important to me, like being with my son. And I took a pause from it for about that 15-year period maybe, while he was growing up and experiencing life, and I attempted to keep up the practice, even though I wasn't going regularly to the dojo. And I kind of got down on myself about it in some ways. But what I found is when I came back to it, there were a whole bunch of experiences I had in life, one of which was mentally letting go of tension, and not just physically letting go of tension. And that whole process that I went through during those 15 years really benefited my Tai Chi. So when I picked it back up, I experienced a depth to it that I probably, if I had stuck to it, wouldn't have came so quickly as when I picked it back up. And that a lot of times happens when creating art. You could set a piece away for a while. Maybe it was a frustrating piece for you. And then years later, you look back at it and you see something and it's like, oh, wow. Those are the kinds of pauses that are so significant when creating art. And in the culture we live in of being on the clock, running from here to there, those kinds of natural pauses aren't necessarily honored so well. But they are huge. They're huge in creating artwork that has depth to it. Like this river has this deepness about it. And let's throw in a little tree action here. On the other side of the river. So we're entering a time of pause. It's Christmas coming up, or whatever holidays you celebrate during this time. So many of us will have a time of pause. See what you do with it. Maybe it will be some of you getting out your own brushes and taking advantage of the pause that you're going into, or maybe it's just playing around, doing nothing. Everybody's got their own special timing and rhythm when it comes to pauses. Something I've found about myself is I'm pretty emotionally structured, so it's good for me to have pauses when I'm making decisions, because I go through layers of emotions with it, and then there's a point where I reach some sort of a clarity where I know what to do or not to do. But if I'm in the middle of kind of this emotional playing around that happens. There's my bell. It looks like we made it all the way through, and this is kind of a neat little piece. Maybe I'll tone back some of that orange just a hair. Not sure if I got to what I was planning on getting to with talking about pause, but maybe I'll pick it up tomorrow. This is kind of cool. Soft brush work. See how when you layer on top of something, you get these interesting colors that begin to appear. They aren't so forced. That's another thing with layering in your paint, that if you give your painting a time to rest, you can layer with it, where I'm working wet on wet here. So there's a lot of ways of talking about the power of pause and artwork. And I guess I'm just going to leave it at what I've talked about today, and see you tomorrow if you tune in, and that'll be my full 4 weeks. And then I'll plan on taking a pause till the new year. But I'll see you tomorrow, and get out your brushes in the meantime.